DJ Erica. Now let's get to talking about the Grammys, all right? All right, so the Grammys is under fire again. I know a lot of y'all, I get tired of talking about the damn Grammys. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It just seems like it's a lot of sensitive people, specifically black folks, is upset because the Grammys didn't get it right again. You know, we had Charlamagne going on Instagram. I mean, dang, how many times am I going to use Charlamagne lane? Charlamagne, always talking, right? He went on there basically saying that the Grammys got it wrong, but why are they shocked? Because they were saying, you know, the people that's over there are allegedly racist and blah, 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 blah. All right? Now, why are they saying this? It's because of Weeknd. The singer The Weeknd was not nominated for a Grammy as everybody thought he would be, based off his most recent album that he came out with. And The Weeknd was very upset because he did not get his Grammy nomination. And he went on a rant basically discussing it and basically saying that he felt like, of course, he was robbed, all right, because he was practicing and performing. He went on Twitter basically saying that he was basically working on actual performance for the Grammys, and they had him rehearsing for weeks just so he could find out that he wasn't actually nominated. And he went on Twitter basically going on a rant about that, and he basically was saying he had a few tweets on here. Let me read the exact tweets for y'all because I screenshotted a few. Let me just bring it up on here real quick because I want to dissect it. Okay, so he said the Grammys remain corrupt. You owe me, my fans in the industry, transparency. Then he also says collaboratively planning a performance for weeks to not being invited. In my opinion, 0 nominations. You're not invited equals you're not invited. So he's saying 0 nominations equals he's not invited. He basically was saying he's been working with the Grammys, planning on performances for weeks, only for him to not get a nomination, which he views as a non-invitation and not come to the Grammys. Now, there's been a lot of issues surrounding the Grammys because they just released all of the Grammy nominees over the past week. And of course, the hip-hop community, the urban community is not satisfied. Drake even came out to the defense of Tory Lanez, basically trying to say that basically the Grammys is basically of no importance. He actually went on Instagram and made a couple of posts, and those posts is also, I might be able to pop that on the video. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I feel like being lazy editing or not. If not, I'm gonna post a link to that below this video too. But this is what Drake said. Drake said, I think we should stop allowing ourselves to be shocked every year by the disconnect between impactful music and these awards, and just accept that what once was the highest form of recognition may no longer matter to the artists that exist now and the ones to come after that. He wrote on his Instagram story. He also said it's like a relative you keep expecting to fix up, but they just can't change their ways. So basically, Drake is on The Weeknd, aka Abel's side, in regards to him not getting his Grammy nomination. And you know, it's a couple other people I've seen, like Charlamagne once I said he was on there on Instagram complaining about the Grammys not getting it right, and basically encouraging people black people in particularly, in the urban music group, whatever, to really try to be more accepting of the BET Awards, NAACP Image Awards, stuff like that, and be happy about those awards versus them being excited about a Grammy Award. And for me, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you guys. I did sit here and I decided to do my research, and a couple of people he shot out that said that they were snubbed and didn't get the right recognition was actually nominated. Okay, what did he say? He said Little Baby was robbed. He said this is what Charlamagne said, Little Baby was robbed. But from what I've seen, he actually did get a nomination. Let me just double check on here. Little Baby did get a nomination because I just read it. Let me see. All right. So Charlamagne was saying that the Grammys got it wrong and that they snubbed Little Baby. But according to here, from what I'm seeing, Little Baby was nominated for Best Rap Performance. along with the baby, along with Megan Thee Stallion, along with Big Sean, and someone else. So when he's saying that the Grammys snubbed him, The Weeknd was actually snubbed because he got 0 Grammy nominations for all the work that he did. And you guys know I'm not much of a fan of The Weeknd after he said some funny stuff about Usher. You guys can check out that video. That's on my channel for a long time ago. I might put that at the end of the video for y'all to click out and see. But I'm not a fan of The Weeknd. But I feel like when people are saying snub, they need to understand what the word snub is compared to just not getting as many nominations as you think the artist should get. And I'm going to be real with you. People want to measure these nominations on race and say that it's a racist thing, it's this, and this. And granted, it could be that, but it also could be based upon musical capability and a musical talent of an individual compared to another genre. Like, for instance, people can complain all day about rap artists not getting a trophy, but look at all the R&B artists who's being crushed on and ignored the past decade because of hip-hop, because of trap music, because of people in the hip-hop community basically stealing the genre R&B and turning it into auto-tune, and everybody just being okay with it, ignoring the fact that there's so many real singers and soul artists that's out there that's not being acknowledged. Forget the Grammys, but just not being acknowledged, period, in the black community, because the black community, the same black community that's complaining about people like the baby or whatever, or little baby, whatever, not getting an award, aren't supporting real musicians like a Jasmine Sullivan. Or, I don't know, her. Even though her is still out there buzzing, but there's a lot of people. Brandy. Brandy, she got snubbed. You know what I'm saying? So before Charlamagne can sit here and complain about Little Baby not getting an award, let's complain about people that really matter. People that's actual real musicians who sit there and write their music, like Brandy Norwood. I'm going to use her government name. Miss I Wanna Be Down. She done putting out music forever. This lady deserved her Grammy nomination. They did not give it to her. And she's an actual artist. She actually writes her music. And I'm not trying to say Little Baby is not important because he's a hip-hop artist. But all I'm saying is that a lot of these hip-hop artists don't even write their own stuff. Not anymore. Hip-hop ain't even the same no more. You know what I'm saying? So people sitting here complaining about some of these hip-hop artists not getting nominations when they don't even write their own stuff. So do they really deserve a Grammy? Because last time I checked, a Grammy is supposed to be for the full creative person. A person who actually has a connection to their music. And even though they have a producer, they actually know how to sing. They actually have some type of connection to the music. Not some hip-hop artist that basically got a ton of ghostwriters and threw some stuff together and he's going to say, oh, I'm a hip-hop artist. Well, you can't sing. You don't know how to write music. You can't play any instruments. Not even from the air. You can't, did I say you can't sing? You can't play any instruments from the air. So the only thing that's left over for you as a hip-hop artist, if you don't know how to produce music, even use a beat machine, will be writing your own stuff. And if you don't really write your own stuff, why do so many people feel that these hip-hop artists should get Grammys outside of their main category? Because it's not fair for an R&B artist to be in the same category with somebody, and they're a singer. That just covers it all, right? Because a singer is naturally gifted. Their voice is their gift. Granted, hip-hop artists, their delivery, the music that they put together is something that's going to be a hit. It's a form of art, but it's not going to be comparable to a singer. Singing is something that you can do literally your whole life and everybody will still be able to hear it. As long as you take care of your instrument, you have a lot. But most of these rappers, they're doing stuff, they rap about stuff that's frivolous and like temporary. Like basically like, you know, the drugs. A lot of these people rapping about, and it's worse. And I'm talking about like the past 5 years. Honestly, these rappers have not been impressive at all. Like if you're gonna complain about like legitimate hip hop artists. And you know what pissed me off with Charlamagne talking about somebody's being snubbed. When the baby got nominated, he was complaining about that. Little Baby got nominated, he was complaining about him. Roddy Ricch did get a nomination in his category. I don't understand. And outside of that, the best rap album, I feel like they got it right. And I feel like the people that got nominated deserve their nomination. You have a legend like Nas with best rap album. Best rap album nomination. He deserved that nomination. Jay Electronica, he deserves his nomination. Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, oh, they deserve their nomination. I don't understand why you feel. And also, we got Royce the 5'9". He deserves his nomination. These dudes have been putting out work in the music industry for a very, very long time, and they deserve the award. Just because an artist has been putting out songs back to back to back to back and basically playing bingo with their music and throwing out so much music that you have no choice but to take it in, that doesn't mean that they deserve an award. That doesn't mean that they deserve a nomination. That doesn't mean that because a bunch of young teenagers who's kind of like mindless is interested in their music or whatever, listen to their music and their streams are up, which is streams that they probably bought, but we don't want to talk about that. Payroller the F out of their material, but we don't want to talk about that. That means that they deserve a Grammy nomination. That's not how it works. The people that I see on here for Rap Album of the Year, it looks like they deserve it to me, based off their material, based off the classic work that they're putting together, based on them being true hip-hop artists. All right? And I feel like with them saying that, and people like Charlamagne and other people sitting there complaining about the nominations, you're basically trying to throw insults to the people who did rightfully earn those nominations. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for you to feel a certain way about real talent like The Weeknd. Even like I said before, I'm not a fan of The Weeknd, but that man is really talented. Like real talent like Brandy actually being snubbed. Do y'all know what, like I said, snub means they didn't even think to nominate you for one thing. Charlamagne is talking about Roddy Ricch is snubbed, but he has a nomination. Lil Baby got snubbed, but they got a nomination. They're hip-hop artists and that's it. So what else category would they be in? I know they wouldn't be in there with album, like the top main in the same category as Beyonce, where Beyonce's being nominated. Do y'all really think that those people deserve that? I don't think so. So outside of that, let's talk also about how mainstream artists basically act bougie once they get to a certain height of their career and think that they are just entitled to receive a nomination because they got a certain amount of downloads of music and this and this, and then they act like they're too bougie to go to Soul Train Music Awards, or they act like they're too bougie to show up to the NAACP Awards. But then you guys want to be salty and mad because people like the Grammys, who basically they're not cornerstone just for the black community, it's for everybody. Y'all want to be mad because y'all didn't get all the nominations. That's not made for all black people. You know what I'm saying? You should be expecting for it to be a diverse of people being nominated when it comes to the Grammys. Now, if the main issue was maybe the R&B album of the year or rap album of the year was going to people who was not doing R&B, was not going to rap people, stuff like that, I would say, okay, complain about it. But what main topic and what main music group do we actually take over as an urban community, as a black community, is usually hip-hop and R&B. Now, rightfully so, there's people who I believe deserve to be nominated, and they should be in a crossover basis, like Chloe and Halle. They definitely did their thing, and like I predicted when I did the review, you guys gotta check out my review of Chloe and Halle's album, Ungodly Hour. I said that they were gonna get some nominations, and it looks like they got about 3 nominations. Congratulations to them. But people like that, they should be nominated in various different categories because those ladies are giving you diversity. They're giving you diversity. They write all their material. You know what I'm saying? They put all their material together, man. Like it's like they deserve their awards. You know, I'm not trying to say that these hip hop writers don't deserve their awards. They do. But it's only a certain amount of people that could be nominated in a category. And it's based upon them picking the best MCs. So if we're going off of MCs, Jay Electronica deserves to be in there. If we're going off of MCs being nominated for Best Rap Album, Royce the 5'9" deserves to be up in there. When we're talking about MCs, Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist deserves to be up in there. D-Smoke, let me fix this real quick. D-Smoke, he deserves to be up in there. Why? You know what I'm saying? Why is everybody so salty? Because these young guys didn't get a nomination. You know what I'm saying? If anything, this should encourage them to do better. Let me give you a Grammy fact check too. While you guys are bitching and complaining about people like little baby, the baby, I'm a baby, you the baby, and everybody's a baby, not getting a Grammy nomination. We have people who are true legends who didn't get nominated for some serious awards out there. How many of you guys don't know that Michael Jackson's Bad Album never received any Grammys? Not one. It was his Thriller album that gave him 8 Grammys that he actually won. But the Bad Album, they basically ignored that. So if Michael Jackson could go through that, and he's Michael Jackson, how many of you guys know Diana Ross has not won a Grammy except for like her Lifetime Achievement Award Grammy? She's a supreme. She's like classic Motown, amazing. She is a Grammy, okay? Herself, her life story, her music, and she hasn't won a Grammy. So if they're not complaining about it, and God rest Michael Jackson's soul, I don't recall him ever complaining really about it. You know, if Michael Jackson has to go through this, and he's a musical genius. He actually wrote his songs, and he gave credit to the producers, because a lot of people, they be stealing other people's music, and then they're trying to claim it as their own. And while we're talking about that, we're going to also talk about this dude that basically like stole Kirk Franklin's song. We're going to get into that story too, because I get tired of like these so-called producers and DJs / producers stealing people's material and then trying to sell it as their own and get mad when it's removed from all social media. Like, come on now, we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into that. But anyway, back to that. If Michael Jackson could not get a Grammy nomination for his work on Bad, the album, and Diana Ross didn't win a Grammy until basically her Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony, what makes you think it makes everybody out here on their high ass horse, these artists out here, think that they should be complaining about them not getting a Grammy nomination their first year out on mostly nothing? No, basically nothing. And really, and I'm just sitting there thinking about it, how much artists have to put in. We have people that have had careers for like, it took like, if people go on a height of Michael Jackson's career, and I'm just going to continue to talk about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was out since 1967, right? With his brothers. And it took him almost until 1983, 84 for him to get all 8 Grammys back to back like that. That's a damn near almost 18 years it took him to get to that point. And granted, his Off the Wall album did well. He got like 2 Grammys off of that. But he wasn't getting any Grammys, and Michael Jackson put in his best effort no matter what. Whether he got awards or not, he still remained at the top until he passed. You know what I'm saying? And that's a true artistry. It's not about you got to get an award because this and this. You should be creating to really reach people. You shouldn't be creating just to get a gold trophy, because really it's really meaningless. If you're sitting there just creating stuff just so you can get a gold trophy, is your music really real? Are you really trying to be great? Are you really, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that I'm saying, particularly about hip-hop artists, is they feel like they just deserve certain things. They feel like something is owed to them. When you have people who paved the way, who hadn't received a trophy that you have over decades, you know what I'm saying? And it also, people could say it's a racial thing, whatever, but we have people like Stevie Wonder that won a ton of Grammys, Songs in the Key of Life, stuff like that that's in between that created great music and they got recognized for it. So it's really not always about race. Maybe people should just sit and try to put together some good music. Her had a great year last year. She got her Grammys. Nobody was complaining about that. But I know within the black community, when it's not a bunch of people that's black that's being nominated, everybody want to complain about it. Well, maybe we should try to put together some better material, some better music. And I'm not talking about Brandy, because Brandy definitely deserved her Grammy nomination. They was on some funny stuff with that. But just in general, we have to stop basing our music off of whether we're going to get an award and just try to put out classic material because it's classic. Michael Jackson Bad Album didn't receive a Grammy Award. But it's still, Michael Jackson Bad Album didn't receive let me say that again. Michael Jackson Bad Album didn't receive a Grammy Award. He got nominated, but he received no rewards or awards for that. From the Grammys, specifically from the Grammys. I know he won other awards, but I'm talking about from the Grammys. He didn't get a Grammy Award for that record, that album. And it's still considered a classic album. So just try to put out classic material and stop making it all about, oh, am I going to get a trophy today? Am I not going to get a trophy? Keep putting out material. Keep putting out material, and eventually it'll hit, man. But stop complaining because you didn't get it. And stop insulting other talents who's putting in a lot of work, who's writing their material that happen to get nominated. If you guys don't like it, then how about y'all try to go down to the Grammy committee, vote some of these people out, get new people voted in, and actually take some action instead of going on Twitter crying and complaining because you didn't get nominated. How about you get on the inside? Be a part of the community. Any of the old school people that's out there that could possibly be registered to be part of the voting committee for the Grammys, get up in there, man. Do something to make a change. But don't sit here complaining on Twitter. That's not going to make them want to give you a award. If anything, it's going to make them be like, ugh. You know what I mean? It's messed up what they did to the Weeknd, but is it going to change? What are you going to do to help change it? Y'all tell me about that. And make sure you guys comment below. We're going to go further on into the next subject on here. If you guys have made it halfway through this podcast, I mean that you like this podcast. So with that being said, what I need you to do is hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button on YouTube and hit the like button. If you guys made it halfway through this podcast and you're on Spotify or you're on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button there or follow button. If you guys can, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button so we can continue to grow this podcast and grow J Airy Gang. Now, this is the name for everybody that's listeners of the podcast. I'm going to call y'all J Airy Gang. If you guys like that name, let me know below. But that's what I'm going to stick to, J Airy Gang, which of course is a combination of my name, J Erica. So I'm going to keep it J Airy Gang. So if you guys are part of J Airy Gang, comment below J Airy Gang. Comment below post notification gang so y'all can be notified every time I upload another podcast, another lit ass podcast. You know how I do. DJ Erica.